for giving this time. Really appreciate. Uh, okay, I'll start from the case study itself. Basically, Alcoa Corporation. It's actually a major American company that produces aluminum or aluminium. Basically, we all know that if they have to manufacture aluminum, they have to mine bauxite because it's the main ore. They have to refine the bauxite into alumina. They have to smelt alumina into aluminum, and then those aluminum products they get converted to transport, construction, packaging, and aerospace, and even households. So we all know the thing of so. Why are we saying this? This company needs 24 bar 7 uninterrupted power supply. The name Aluminium Company of America, they took the short form as Alcoa. So the case study is all about Alcoa. Now the chapter basically tells us how important is for a company to note down the GHG measurements, and how important is for them to account for GHG. Because if you take the case study itself, what happened was this company Alcoa was able to significantly reduce its scope 2 by 28 percentage, which is 2% less than their original 30 percentage. So in 2015, this company called Alcoa, they had that as a base year. They had that as a base year, 2015, and they said in by 2025 we will reduce our carbon emissions by 30 percentage. So by 2015 they had their emissions somewhere 7 tons of carbon emitted, and they had to bring down it by 30 percentage in 2025. So what they did, they had a mechanism to purchase the RECs, which is renewable energy certificate. So the whole logic was this company Alcoa wanted to bring down its emissions by purchasing RECs. So that is the case study. Now, did they succeed? Did they fail? That is the case study. Now, why purchase REC? Now, they want this company Alcoa. They want to the company the government has made a norm saying that you have to reduce your thing down. But based on some local things, they said yes, and they did not do, and then they were about to be penalized. But they then decided that okay, let's go purchase RECs. Now, when they did this, what happened was, you know, when you report your GHG emissions, you have to report two things. That's called the dual reporting. You have to say the location based, how much was your location based emissions and how much was your market based emissions. Now the general tactic is always the location-based emissions will be lower than the market-based emissions. But in this case, surprisingly, in Alcoa's case, market-based emissions were more. However, they were able to reduce their emissions to 30 percentage or 28 percentage by purchasing the RACs. But surprisingly, their scope 2 emissions market-based was high. Now, what is the difference between location-based and market-based? Now, a company like Alcoa, when they produce aluminum, they need a grid, isn't it? They need a grid. Now, when you calculate the location-based means the electricity that comes through the local grid. Now, what is the challenge here? Alcoa will not be able to track how much percentage of renewable current comes through the grid, how much percentage of charcoal based comes through the grid. So that is why they went for the market based emissions by purchasing the RECs. REC. Uh, Now, When you take a look at their emissions, in 2015 scope 2 was 4.79 million, sorry, 7 million, but in 2025 their scope 2 was 4.7 million. They were able to reduce it, but when they calculated their emissions from the grid, it was they were able to reduce and show 4.79, but calculating the market based emissions, it was actually 10 million tons. 10 million tons. So they failed miserably because of one reason, because even though they purchased the RECs, they did not account it, which means some other companies took the credits. So if at all they accounted it again, then that becomes a double counting. Does any of these make sense, or am I becoming nervous and talking nonsense? Does it make sense? Uh,
Okay.
can
Yeah, Biju, I think it does make sense. And that is what the whole thing is. It's a little twisted reality that market-based emissions were larger compared to the location-based, because generally the assumptions are that location-based will be higher, given that most of the grid supply is, dirty, right? Market-based, on the other hand, which we'll be learning in the scope 2 calculation immediately after I finish the scope 3, you will see that considers the uh, green emissions or no emissions coming from the grid. So it considers the contribution of renewable energy, right? So if you look into that number should be lower, because if there is a supply of green energy and
Right.
lesser of coal energy, right? Obviously, the emission will be lesser compared to the location which only accounts for coal energy. So that was the really interesting case study which you picked up. And it definitely guides us that you have to keep your mind open. You cannot be, and the reasons are that, first of all, it's America, where the green energy is in the grid is larger anyway in certain locality compared to the coal fired power plants or even gas fired power plants, right? The Tesla has large giga factories, and even they have their own solar farms, etc. So if you are in those locality, remember, market will be higher compared to the grid itself, because grid itself is cleaner and hence location will be little lower. Is it clear, everyone? What a interesting stuff, Biju. Great job. Yeah.
And one more thing, when I went through the
Please,
case
please.
study, I also noted that
Yes.
if you are recruited for a company and do this carbon capture and reporting, you
Yes.
have to do this dual reporting, or for when you are purchasing electricity, you got to do this dual based reporting. Though the significance is lower, you have to tell whether your local emissions that comes from the grid is lesser than or greater than the market emission. So both the things has to be accounted for when you do your reporting. Is that correct?
Yeah,
And
it's
also,
mandatory. It's mandatory. This is the problem in India right now. India is not reporting, which is a kind of mistake. Yeah, GHG protocol suggests that both methods should be used. Of course, we are not doing any mistake. The reason is we don't have residual values, residual emission values of the
right,
network,
right.
and that is
And
why.
also, and also, I understood that if you have to go for reduction, you have
Yes,
to do this bottoms up approach, which means instead of calculating your or concentrating more on your direct emissions,
yes.
go through the worker, the scope one, concentrate more on your scope one, and then try to reduce your scope two. You'll be able to achieve a lot of reductions in your strategy. So the base year identification is important, and also the bottoms up approach for calculating this carbon is very very important, is what the experts say. And also they say that whenever you are reporting the emissions came down, was it because of a acquisition, or Is it because of some sort of energy efficiency methods that you did? Like for example, Alcoa brought down their direct emissions also, sorry, purchased emissions by installing a agropower mechanism. So the experts argue in this field that instead of installing a lot of physical components to reduce your scope 2, it's better to go and get some credits and then try to reduce your emissions, is what they're saying. So it's a very important, interesting thing when I did this small research here.
Very good. Well done. Good observation there. Anybody else wants to add anything here? Or shall we go to Madhurinder? Have you prepared your presentation? Or did you do last time? You are from group 2 or group 1? Because group 2, everybody did it, I believe. Group 1 only Dhaneshri did, correct? Dhaneshri?
Yes, sir. And Madhurendra also did it last.
And also did it. Okay, so it was the same group. Great. Okay, so group 1, I think both of you have done. I didn't wanted to start little early, but what we will do is we will give you the feedback on the submissions which we have received on the sheet. Let me see if I can show you guys. More or less, you guys have done justice. Any trouble you have faced while attempting it, Dhanasri, while attempting this homework activity booklet number 2 for module 2? Have you faced any issue while attempting the?
Yes, sir. So, like
Tell
in
me.
that
So
activity
that you will address.
section, I didn't know what exactly like I was expected to do there.
Tell me which section.
Activity 5.
Matrix. Matrix or no? Okay. Activity 5. Okay, let me open your booklet.
The ESG 5-step model. Put the model to work for Verdant Tech. So like there are defined boundaries set the reporting framework steps, right? And beside that there was a column. So where we had to write like what Verdant Tech does, and in bracket it was your answer. So I didn't know what exactly.
Yeah, so you have to write, you have to define here. You did that, right? Organization boundary they are following. You also talked about, you have to give the reasons as well. Did you do that? This is, by the way, Ramnendraji's. How many of you did? By the way, I liked his presentation. Why? Because he has used some examples from real world. Yeah, he added there. So anyway, let's see who all are submitting, and then because only few people have submitted. Uh, Biju, you did it. I have seen Madhurendra, I have seen Dhaneshri and Ramnendra. Madhurendra, you didn't do it. I think you just responded to Reliance Industry, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You did the response. What about this booklet? Have you completed?
No, sir, I couldn't complete it.
Okay. So can you see here, Dhaneshri, the way the explanation been done?
Yes, sir.
That is what was the missing in yours. So you have written correctly organizational structure, but why this has been done and what all it covers, that's what you have to see. Do you remember I shown you guys Tesla Motors?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is where we have explained that how Tesla Motor is taking, and see, Ramanendraji has picked up exactly what I have told there. Yeah, without going any further ado. Of course, he has done little more explanation that if he was an auditor, what he can do, and he has put in all that detail. So I will share a model answer as well to everyone, not this, let me give you the feedbacks first. So Dhanasri, any other place where you found out any issue?
Yeah, no, sir. I think
Okay. So let me give you the feedback. 3 clear feedbacks are there that you get a good grasp of, you got it already, a scope 1, 2, 3 sources. You have correctly classified those in the beginning of the assignments itself. framework matching was largely accurate. You understand the basic distinction between the direct emission, purchase energy, and value chain. That's what it clarifies. Basic practitioner understanding is developing right now. Okay. Obviously, such kind of short answer is one of the reasons. You can explain the things a little more. Of course, you are doing it first time. I believe it's the first time you are attempting it, Dhanisri, or you
Yes,
practice it.
yes, sir. First time.
First time, okay. So, for example, we were talking about whenever it is required to show your understanding, you have a very clarity, like operational control, data collection, and emission factor tiers. You have a very good command on those. So, first 4, 5 activity, you have shown that. But for example, organization boundary calculations, which you completed here, 8,000, 12,200, were perfectly done as well, right? 4,000 total. And your tier 1 and tier 3 explanation also, I liked it. That was also done well. There is no doubt about that. Um, where I need your stronger input was on technical depth and discipline in the calculation. Calculation requires little discipline as well. And what it means is that you maintain the consistency of showing your work. Yeah. For example, 5-step model, when you started doing this, of course, it is a little shorter, but that doesn't mean that you do not understand. You understand the topic really well, but you could have followed the, uh, you know, explaining it rather than sticking yourself with a keyword. Right now, you have used all the right keyword. So if you are attempting a CBSE exam, I would have given you the 100 marks. But as you are attempting a GHG protocol exam, I will give you 90 marks, right? I am cutting 10 marks of not being explanatory in your word, right? You could have actually done on each stage that what exactly this mean and how you are calculating, multiplying the data and emission factor obviously is the right answer. There is no doubt about it. But is it the whole answer? Absolutely not. You could have added there that how you will select the data, which kind of data will be your focus, what is the reliability in Vedant tech, what is your approach for scope 1, scope 2, like that has to be there. Is it clear? Does that
Yes.
sound good? Yeah, that's the learning. That's the learning, right?
Like detailed answers or just like one word answers. Like I wasn't sure how much detail I had to get into.
Okay,
So
okay, okay, okay. So our mistake, that was our mistake. Detail means, look, I'm not saying that you should write pages here, but
Mhm.
at least enough for people to understand the grasp you are having. Right now, the grasp you are saying that you know it, but can I give you my job to do be done? Absolutely not. Why? Because you are not reflecting the company specific scenario here. Are you with me? Yeah, if
Yes.
you could have just justified with the company requirements, that data might be looking better. And that exactly is my feedback is that technical depth and calculation discipline, if that comes in. Um, One biggest concern I have seen is relating to your conversion, okay, density conversion.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a challenge. You need to look into it. I will send you the actual answers. I'm not going in detail. Density conversion, you arrived at 1,541 or something like that, right? 1,000, yeah, this number. So look into this number. There is some error here. It's not a concerning error, but definitely you have to make sure that calculation is rigorous. If I have to give a mark on your whole submission, I would have given 85. Yeah, 80 to 85. Not because that you made anything wrong here, because of there is a difference between knowing the answer and explaining the methodology, right? And that is as a professional is expected. I hope these pointers you might be noting down because that is what will add value to your career, right? You can always learn the calculation from a booklet, but what you can't learn from booklet is that these nuances that you have to explain and be careful about density conversions, right? All that adds a lot of value when you do the real calculations. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So knowing the answer to explaining the methodology, that's the difference I am looking forward to you in the activity number 3 when we will complete the scope 3. Make sense?
Yeah, okay, sir.
So in summary, for Dhanisri, good understanding, fundamental of GHG accounting concept, scope classification, organizational boundaries, awesome work. You are showing a developing of your ability as well. That also I have seen here, that applying the concept into activity data, emission factors, basic definitely is done. But now I need you to go a little deeper for technical explanation, stronger methodologies, and making a rigorous exercise that people see you as an authority in the field rather than just attempting it. Problem might be that we have not given a clear instruction as well, so that I am discounting it here. Now, thank you very much for that. Let's go to Ramrendraji. Ramrendraji, your submission, I liked it, as I have said. Still, I would give you 90%, not 100% this time, maybe next time. Yeah. I like these kind of structure. You have shown the process flow. This was unique in his submission. Biju, people who have submitted, they should see this slide, that he has actually gone thinking little louder here, right? And thinking that what processes could be there. And he put his own imagination. It's not that I have provided him something extra. He did his own research and put it that this is what he feels the structure looks like. Yeah. So if I have to give any problem you faced, Ramanendra, let me address that first.
No, thing is, I think it's very structured, this thing, so I take liberty to areas where I think, it adds value. For example, the main purpose of drawing this diagram or this particular flow is actually to visualize what they're doing and where are the faults, the chance of missing out. This is what I used to do whenever I used to do audit for your environment safety, EHS, environment, health and safety audits for when I was in ITC, and later on also for other companies. Because one more thing is that these things are highly industry specific. If you don't know anything about, for example, I don't know anything about airline industry, it will be very difficult for me to do an audit verification or even preparing a report like this, unless I map the process first and understand. Am I audible?
Yes, Ramanji, you are very much audible.
Okay.
Message was loud and clear. Yeah. And that exactly is the finding as Am I audible? Sorry, am I audible?
Yeah, actually, you were on mute for a while, but anyway, now I can hear you.
Okay. So I was just telling that that is exactly the message is also that you have understood the assignment really clearly, and you have attempted it also to the best level possible. The submissions I have seen, you are one of the best ones. But my job is not to tell you how great you are. My job is to give you the feedback, right, and tell you where you can further sharpen your blades and make sure that you become authority. If you are open to that, can I give you the feedback quickly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's the main purpose.
So undoubtedly, you have a strong conceptual understanding right now on a scope 1, 2, and 3, and you were able to even differentiate between GHG protocol and ISO 14016 principles, 64 principles. I like that as well. Organization boundary, no doubt. You have clearly mentioned about operational control, and you have taken that into picture while defining it. So those were explanations are, by the way, more detailed. So I liked it. And this could be a good answer sheet itself. People can follow it in becoming better. So even though a small answer where there was a possibility like a stationary combustion, you defined it, right? It's a part of direct emissions where the fuels are burned. So you are very specific to the company which is in the picture, rather than you are just giving the generic answer. And this is what any client likes or your company likes, right? That you are talking about what's going right, exactly where. Appreciation of the right thing is more important than the journalistic appreciation, isn't it? And that is what you have done here. So that's the beauty of your answering. Um, Practitioner oriented thinking, clear thinking, no doubt about that. I really appreciate that as well. And of course, you have talked about maintenance of record, metering, SCADA, and that shows that sometimes experience do help. So if you have little experience, you can deploy. It doesn't matter, guys. Please learn from this case study that experience is required not because experience always overlead the young generation thinking process. Experience is required that you know how the processes, legacy processes works and how you can deploy the new thinking in it. Yes, and that is why sometimes experienced people are also required to work alongside with the Gen Alpha and Gen Z. Yes, clear everyone? That gives the real wings to the company which is trying to fly off. Clear? And that is what he has done. You see that he talked about the ISO framework here, right? And he has given the links to it. This is the research kind of material, correct? How many of you are PhD holder? Today, I think one of those are missing. But if she would have been there, she would have loved and appreciated immediately. Yeah. That now I need not to search anything. I can just click and I know where you are referring to. You can, guys, can you see it? Yeah, he has given a reference, simple reference with a PDF and video. This helps everyone. And this is coming from GHG protocol, right? This video is NQA, which is a part of today's webinar. So those were the things which we liked. Good approach. Now, main improvement area for you will be precision.
Can you increase the size? I
Yeah,
can't.
main area is
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
you. Main area for you is precision.
Uh-huh.
For example, national framework responses, which you talked about, move from CBAM, CCTAs, and tariff-based risk implications, right? That's what you talked about. While some of the statement which you mentioned in five-step model, right, uh, did not refer to, right? Those things become unnecessarily detailed as well. You mentioned them here, but they are not that important for the five-step model. Five-step model is just a measurement side, right? We do not want to know that how is going to impact my CBAM, CCTS, because it can be used anywhere, as you said, but that is too much unnecessary. Because again, you have to discuss when you come to the strategy side, right? When you come to the reporting side, you have to anyway produce that data. So it will become repetitive. That's the caution you have to take in the beginning.
I agree with you, but there is one small point I wanted to clarify. The
Yes,
last one,
please.
for example, where emission factors are there.
Right.
So wherever it is CO2e, that means GWP is already taken into the emission factor.
Yes.
Yeah, so which is not clearly mentioned here in this particular case study, and we have not yet studied, but on my own I studied, and then I found, because I had the little bit of this thing that the figures are matching with IPCC AR6 exactly, the emissions. But
Right.
whether they were taken into account automatically GWPs or not, I am not sure. So I did my little
No, the
homework.
people do not share, and that's not even required in certain cases where the emission factor itself is considering the GWP.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but that depends on the database you're using.
Yes, true. That is not mentioned in the database, but that's common knowledge. And
My understanding is that if it says CO2e, then you can assume that that is included.
yes, carbon
Maybe
dioxide.
I'm wrong.
I agree. That is why this data set you have used, the 2026 IPCC guideline for converting those. I totally understand that, right? But that's again is little deeper insight, which you are trying to put it rightly. Where was the data set given here? Which page? Anybody remembers?
At the end.
At the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this 2.088, 2088, 2.68, all these things are as per IPCC AR6. I've checked. I cross-checked just to satisfy myself.
Yeah, that is what I saw. That is what I saw that you checked it. But there is also a calculation issue in refrigerant line. I saw that, right? Though you did a calculation above, there is a error there.
Where?
2.8088, right? That's the number, kg number. I think you have arrived at, which is 47.16 tons
Yeah,
nitride
yeah.
equivalent. But if you see, it shows 0.04176. That was the number. Sorry.
Okay, can you show that? Because initially I had not divided it by 1,000, but it shows per kg.
Yeah, see here, right? So that's the resulting in a scope 1 total of 1,600, right? 1,654 for scope 1. And then you have a scope 3, 84.44. Now, instead of expected figure by the exercise calculations structure itself, so that number would have been a little different. That's what we believe.
Scope
Anybody
1.
got the correct
No,
answer here, by the way?
no. 1 second, Vivek. I'm not getting it actually. The refrigerant is given emission factor in CO2e per kg. So when you are converting it into CO2e ton, which is the heading says, then I have to divide by 1,000.
That's the issue, right? That's the issue.
In the exercise book, the heading
I'm
says
just trying
per
to see
ton.
anybody has correct calculation. Yeah, see, you can see these numbers, right? Guys, can you see it?
No. If you see the line above, it's a use emission is equal to activity data into emission factor. Complete this thing for each subject. Somewhere it says that it is carbon equivalent ton. This CO2e, the last column.
Yeah, so this is the correct tonnage, right? 41 instead of 0.041. You got it 0.041. You are dividing by 1,000 again. Why? I don't know.
Because the emission factor
So
E
this,
is in kg.
yeah, so once you divide that, please divide it. Anyone can divide that, right? 2,000, 080. Acha, you are taking decimal here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. You are taking decimal
Okay,
here.
sorry, that was an
That's the problem. Okay.
Sorry.
You got it, yeah?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, so guys, good job done. Thank you very much. And many people have got it correct as well. So that is the feedback. Don't take it very seriously. These are calculation errors. You can always fix them. But those are the errors which we have to address. Now, as everybody has joined, we will start the new session, new chapter, right? Rather than sticking there on doing only one thing. We have already started a scope 3 calculation. So I will recommend everybody to complete that exercise, send as a submission because that's adds up to your end submissions as well. Now, you remember we were talking about the upstream last time, and then we left at downstream. And I promised you guys that when we will be meeting, I will not be jumping right away out of it because I want you guys to you know, I do not want you to miss such kind of stuff. That's what